everyone, Joe here from ActionX, and welcome to What's in the Super. Welcome back. If this is your second Rookie Season 7 episode review, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world. It's not really a good time right now. 2025 is kind of, starting to get its real hooks into us. I'm exhausted. A lot of things going on in the world. We're not here to talk about that, though. We're not. But we're here today to talk about the Rookie, which I think it was an interesting episode. I'm just jumping right into the chase here because I do have some choice comments about it. I will say from a creative standpoint, I do find this to be interesting. Definitely, like I said before last week, they're trying to find new angles to be able to keep the show fresh, to keep the show moving towards again within the middle of season 7, and this is one of those episodes where I feel like I would like the binge. I think I like the core setup of it. I really do. And I want to say it's probably just one of those realizations that, like, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit scared. I'm not trying to be too on the wagon here. This could be the first sliver that I believe, in my opinion, they may be juggling too much. Now, I don't say that as a bad thing. I love all the characters on the show. I love the fact that everyone is trying to have equal amounts of attention on the storyline. But when you have an ensemble cast like this, it can get kind of hard to be able to craft, good storylines as well as keep everyone entertained. And that's kind of something that I noticed within the last couple of seasons, where as much as I really love those seasons a lot, I do admit that there were some characters they kind of shafted a bit to make way for, bigger things. Season 5, Selena was the primary focus most times than not because she was the new rookie. She kind of pushed Aaron to the side. And last season being a very restrictive season, there wasn't really too much to do because there wasn't room to breathe. So it seemed like everyone was kind of like on autopilot mode, where certain characters were like, they kind of had little things to do, but there wasn't enough room in the time slot to justify giving everyone everything to do. Now that we have 18 episodes to breathe, and maybe this is something I didn't even notice from season 5. Maybe I could be wrong. Please let me know if I do. I haven't rewatched season 5 yet. I probably won't for at least another couple years at my current speed. But I'm starting to feel like the choices of storylines here. It's not that it's something that I don't want to see. It definitely is coming naturally. That just hit me. I have no idea. I literally fixed that with my partner about a couple weeks ago before the holidays, and I swear to God, it was perfect. And I have no idea why it just started to fall on me. I want to say my walls due for insulation refill. So I do apologize if this is now off centered and bothersome. I would fix it, but I'm on a roll. And before I go any further, I'm not trying to say anything negative. I still really enjoy The Rookie. It's still one of my top shows. That's not going to change anytime soon. It would take a lot for it to catapult out of the way. I always say I trust the writers. I hopefully know there is going to be a payoff point. But now that we've hit a full second generation in the rookies, as I like to call them. And of course, we had Aaron, we had Selena, as mini point, but now we're in the full stage of we're in the second generation properly, and as well as again, most of our veteran characters, they've been through so much. What is next for them to do? And I find it, I'm really scared to the fact that both characters that I felt like didn't get so much in development last year are kind of going through similar storylines, which it's not to say that they're both doomed to fail in terms of the end result, but I'm a little scared, in terms of compare and contrast. You can't have everything look at hunk and door, and that was something I read in the interviews and the trades last year, where because of the small episode, they weren't able to fully do what they wanted to do because there wasn't enough time to let everything breathe on its own. And I felt like now we're here, and now we're actually seeing them make good on their promise. It could just be the fanness in me where I don't want anything sudden to happen. Maybe it's, maybe I'm finally getting my own Chenford breakup moment. Maybe that's what I am. But in terms of it's something that I've been satisfied for a bit, and now they're taking away from me. I really don't know 100% speaking. We're going to see how the rest of the season goes. But at least for me, I was a bit, cause for concern with certain points here. But again, before I go further, like I do trust the writers. I do believe they're gonna deliver on certain things, and I am very eager to see how they go, and then I will react appropriately as they happen. But with all that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. So little context for not. For some reason, my episode was desynced in audio, so the audio would be a few seconds ahead of the episode. So it kind of felt weird to hear characters talk when they're not. So it was a little bit weird, let's be honest there. So we see Nolan and Selena responding to a call. It's a fleeing criminal. They're just trying to chase him down. How the hell they got into this parking lot, I'm not 100% certain. They're chasing them down. He does get away via a parking lot structure. So that's the one side is locked, so they try to go for the other end to see if they can probably intercept him pretty quickly. But halfway through the sequence, they hear some moaning, they hear some groaning, and they head inside the parking lot structure properly, and they find the criminal already tied up and gagged. They go a little bit forward into the scene, and they find this vigilante-looking mother. Oh my god, I'm trying to keep it TV-14 here. I'm just like, peace, and I'm just like, what? Like, are we finally entered the point where like the Rookie's gonna have their own vigilantes? I'm very confused. I'm just like on Selena's camera, like, how do I call this in? Like, I thought this was only stuff in like superheroes and comic book, like a vigilante. Like I thought it was just in the real world, just cops and stuff. And like, no, I was like, oh no, there's a code for that. It's something I don't remember the code is. But yeah, so now LA has an official vigilante in town. It's hilarious to say the least. We cut over to Harper's residence with her loving beau, who is looking for his car keys because he has a very important meeting with the police captain about the status of the Mid-Wilshire department following the whole scandal. And he and Harper, kind of weird to not see them be a little bit more like. I think that was my one complaint with James's character throughout seasons 6 and 5, where not too much in 5, like a little more in 6, where like it didn't really feel like his character. I haven't seen season 6 in a while, so please correct me if I'm wrong. It's just, again, limited episodes, limited time, so we don't get enough of everything. So I do apologize if I am misstepping here, but like the James, we know like he always mentions the community, but we don't actually get to see the community anymore since season 3 or season 4. I forgot. I really forgot where we wrapped up on that storyline, but at least in this case, he's going down to represent the community just to see what the heck's going on with the department. And even though Harper's just trying to give him like the low that hey, Wesley's there. He's trying to mitigate the transition from where we were at to kind of into a new improved status, hopefully not corrupt stage. Which again, this is the second time in less than 3 years where that department's literally been compromised by double agents. So I'm not surprised certain people. I'm not even sure if the Armstrong thing ever went public. I'm not 100% certain. I know internally they did, obviously, of course. But in terms of the actual news, we never really got to see a real fallout for that. We just saw cops getting transferred around to see if they can mitigate the damage to Mid-Wilshire. But the fact this is the second time in less than 3 years where like they've had a known mole infiltrate, and it was only just happenstance that they got uncovered. Like it eventually comes to the point where like, yeah, like no, this is a problem that we definitely need to unroot. But obviously, Harper being on the pro policing and James being on like, he supports policing when it's done right, but he very much is more like a litigated person where like he'd rather like have things be civil and proper and like have things be more neutral than just natural assumption, which again, obviously trying to play call to a real world environment where like there are people that sadly are in these positions of power, but they don't fully see things, in a balanced scope. They definitely see things more like one cup and another, if you understand what I mean. But yeah, it's the first time I noticed a little tension between them. James does let her know that, that he is having a dinner sort of thing that night with a few friends, some of his community friends, and that, that was a bit hesitant on it since most of his community friends are very anti-policing. So the fact that he's married to a cop and that they're, going to be in their household doesn't quite sit her comfortably. But again, being that they are a married couple, they have to make some sacrifices for themselves. So this is one of them. We cut back open to Penn's habitation, i.e. his car, just kind of getting him set up for the day, brushing his teeth, changing his shirt. I really hope this man takes a shower, or some point, or probably he takes a shower after work. Who the hell really knows? He shows up to work in like a very gigantic duffel bag, and Bradford calls him out on it because supposedly there's an unspoken rule where officers are not supposed to have very vast, giant bags to come to work. Normally, it's one of those less is more type of approach. But Bradford's still trying to chew him out, trying to chew out the new rookies a little bit, trying to get them a little bit I guess accustomed to how the real world is. I'm not really sure with Bradford anymore. I kind of give up on understanding him moons ago. Then we cut to, I'm trying to remember afterwards. Do we cut to the regular meeting? I don't 100% remember by this point. I don't remember. I don't remember. Actually, no, I do. This is, we're in the locker rooms. We get the girls' locker room and the boys' locker room where Selena is officially preparing for her plain clothes day, which once more that Nolan is a very late teacher, or the writers just really forgot where the timeline was by this point, because they knew she was still in the FDO program, but they're like, oh wait, did we give her a plain clothes day? Oh shit, was she supposed to be in her short sleeves already? Oh, my bad. But no, so we're finally getting all those season 1 stuff again in season 7, which again, I do understand it's a way to keep the show relevant and fresh again. We're like, hey, remember these stuff you used to love in season 1? Well, now we remember that we're bringing them back here in season 7. And Jen's trying to give her some words of support, just to have her be mentally prepared that it's she's come so far in her training not to get discouraged right now. Obviously, again, her having a much later plain clothes day than when Chen did it many years ago now. It's, a bit different because I guess she's had more training. Nolan's a great teacher. And, as long as she uses what she learned on the job so far, she is pretty much set for success, hopefully speaking. Meanwhile, Bradford's berating Nolan just a tad bit. Not like a disrespectful way, more like a mutual way. We're like, yeah, I know it's your first plainclothes day, but you really need to be strict on Juarez. Because, again, she's a good cop. You're a good TO. But, you really need to be a little bit more harsher with her so that she can really get the gripness of the job. And Nolan's just like, but I'm not you. But Bradford's just like, yeah, but I trained Chen. She turned out to be a great cop. That makes me a great TO. So, if you want to stick in the good category, you can do that. But, I'm just letting you know there is a difference between them. So, we get over to the station itself. Wesley meets up with James. Hey, we're the work husbands. We are husbands to our wives who are best friends at work. So now we kind of have to be kind of friendly towards each other. Or I really don't know anymore. Where are we at with that? So yeah, so Wesley's there to be a mediator for the meeting because, again, consider the fact that it's involving the status of Mid-Wilshire right now. He needs to be prevalent in the meetings, which is another way of saying Wesley needs to be in the scene somehow. Even though we started up this storyline that I'm not 100% sure where we're heading towards that, as they meet up with Harper and Lopez, who are back in patrol uniform. Now they didn't get demoted. Don't worry, we didn't have an off-screen demotion there. No. Apparently, because patrol is severely understaffed, because majority of the officers that were turned out to be liable, let's call it to the nicer way of saying it, were patrol officers. So they're down a lot of people right now. So sadly, the detectives have to kind of sacrifice some of their detectives who are qualified to be patrol officers to take over some shifts for the patrol squad so that they can have adequate coverage for the sector. And it's a bit weird, again, having not seen Harper and Lopez back in these uniforms for a couple years now. So it really feels that long ago. Again, for me, I've seen it. I just saw season 3 again. So for me, that was yesterday they were back in these uniforms. But from a new modern perspective, it's been a little bit of time. So it kind of feels weird to get to see them back in their old clothes. Kind of. I'm pretty sure these are updated clothes. That detective, which Wesley is incredibly jealous over, shows up. And I really do not know why the production team shot the way this scene did. Where they have that detective, I forgot his name, and Lopez had a lingering moment where it's a little bit I don't know what it is. It could just be a sign of obviously eye contact, mutual respect, having a good banter. I really don't know. But I think the moment when jealousy sits into one of the partners, it becomes more difficult to really gauge what's going to happen, because again, Wesley is obviously uncomfortable with this. He really is. And even the last episode where like he got the assurance from Lopez, they're like, hey, we are good, do not worry, we are perfectly fine, I am happy. And now this again, I'm like, I feel sorry for Wesley. If this is the storyline Wesley's going on this season, I really feel sorry for him. I really, really do, because jealousy is, God forbid, the worst emotion to ever have in the human body. It really is. It just really tears you up. Trust me. I can speak from experience. So they split up. They all go to their units. Nolan's in his plain clothes. Obviously, because it is plain clothes day, he'll just be watching Juarez from a monitoring perspective. He'll be there to diffuse any extreme situations, but mainly Selena's taking point for this day. And sadly, Ridley is nowhere to be found. Chen's obviously getting worried because, again, there's a bet between her and Bradford on who could train the better rookie. It's only the second day for them on the job, and I'm just like, damn, they're just really, he's not really going off on a good leash here. He really isn't. Bradford is taking roll call as Gray has to sit in on the captain meeting because, again, he is lieutenant now. He needs to be privy to that. I really wish we could have gotten that scene, but we did not. So Bradford's running the running roll call today. Ridley does show up a few seconds before the door shuts down, and Bradford calls him out on it, letting everyone know there never should be a reason for especially a rookie to be late for their shift. So yeah, Ridley is just, again, not quite on the best foot here. He really is not. Bradford is giving the orders for the day because of this new vigilante that they're calling the Watcher. I hope Marvel Studios doesn't sue. I just remember Disney owns ABC mostly. Same with Marvel, so they should be fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine on that. That the citizens of LA may be more comfortable with a vigilante over armed officials. So Bradford's order for the day to promote more community policing in order as an effort to kind of combat the Watcher's influence and his social media presence, not directly, more like indirectly. It hopes to kind of remind people, hey, the vigilante is not the one who's going to help you, really. It's the officers. And I'm like, Bradford, this is 2025 or whatever year y'all take place in right now. But yeah, that's not how it works anymore. People are starting to feel less and less trustworthy with cops, but that's a whole conversation for another day. Anyway, so everyone's on community policing, more walking patrols. That'll be more of the duration of the shift, except for Juarez and Nolan, who are going to be handling more of the regular policing stuff as an effort to give Juarez the best opportunity for her plain clothes day. And again, I really like the banter between Nolan and Juarez. It just never ceases to amaze me. I'm now going into their third season together, that they still, even though like Nolan technically can't talk to Juarez this episode, it's still pretty funny to the fact that it's just, even like when he has to be radio silent of how much that it could really work out between them. It really did. It still feels like Nolan is kind of like, the dad Juarez never had, and like he's trying to be a friend, but at the same time, I'm your teacher, so I'm really trying to like catch my tongue here a little bit. Yeah, so Chen, we switch over to Chen and Ridley. Ridley is trying to loosely explain why he was late. Chen is trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, trying to be a little bit calm with him, but then when Ridley kind of calls out to the fact that, oh, thank God I don't have Bradford as a TO, then she does overreact a bit, saying that, hey, just letting you, trying to unleash her inner Bradford, say, hey, don't disrespect your fellow peers. Just because he's not your TO doesn't mean you have it easy. It really doesn't. Okay, maybe he does. This is Chen we're talking about here. We cut over to not Ridley and Bradford. We don't get not Ridley and Bradford, Penn and Bradford. We don't get to them just quite yet. We head over to Juarez, who decides, like, technically I'm solo, so I get to like infuse some of my own personal makings into the shop, even giving one of her crystals a chance. I remember that from season 5. Nolan's just like, no, I'm demarring you for this incident. Where were we for that? Yeah, they respond to a home invasion in progress. They respond, again, Juarez having to take point on this one, even though Nolan does have to participate due to the fact that there could be armed weapons. They head inside. They already find the supposed intruder shot down. It's just a teenage girl. They head over to the bathroom where the victim was calling from, and supposedly this was the intruder. And then when he came out, and I recognize this actor, I just don't remember, I can't quite place where I know him from. And yeah, so that he's like very much in shock, the fact he shot his own granddaughter, and the fact that yeah, you basically lost your grandfather rights for the rest of the time. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you on that front. We cut over to next where ambulances show up to take the granddaughter away to surgery. The man is in very much in disarray. He's very much shocked the fact this even happened. The detective we saw before that supposedly has a thing for Lopez shows up, and he immediately skips over Juarez, goes straight to Nolan, because again, Nolan is technically the senior officer on site here, but however, he recognized, oh wait, it's plain clothes day. I can't talk to you. I have to talk to her. And yeah, he's like definitely not the type of person I would even respect, considering the fact he immediately skipped over Juarez, went straight to Nolan. Now he has to begrudgingly go back to Juarez, only gets the brief explanation, and then switches back over kind of to Nolan and Jason, which I'm just like, great. I don't like this dude at all. I really, really don't. Juarez tries to get the order to like if we should arrest and put him into custody. He's like, no, it was probably an accident. You know, it happens. This guy's already been through enough. It's best that we just let him go to the hospital, let him stand by to his granddaughter's side for the moment. You know, it's best like that. Juarez uses this moment to kind of vent a little bit to Nolan, even though Nolan can't officially speak at the moment. She does let him know that she did find the way that this detective kind of treated her a bit as very disrespectful, that, you know, she wasn't even given a chance before he immediately just went straight to Nolan. And Nolan, obviously knowing him, we can know by his mannerisms that, like, yeah, she's right. She very much is right. This was not a way for it to go out. Bradford and Penn are beginning their neighborhood watch. Them walking around the neighborhood trying to, like, you know, get the lay of the land. Penn tries to flirt with one of the neighbors, and I'm just like, dude, this ain't Texas. There's really isn't Texas. And Bradford just has to call him out on it. Lopez and Angela are begrudgingly going for their walk, already seeing that if this was a patrol day, if this was a patrol type of day, they would have definitely just stayed detective, and just stayed at their desk all day if they wanted to. They do catch a robbery in progress. It's just a random dude with his pants falling down, just like that is a very very quick grab over there. That's when Selena and Nolan go into respond, just kind of trying to just do an easy call right here. Then we cut over to Chen and Ridley, who are doing their own patrol walk, obviously just giving another opportunity for Ridley to learn a little bit more. However, they're the person they were trailing, just in case, because he does look like he was part of a gang, is interrupted when shots are fired nearby. They run over to the corner. They find the same person they were trailing on the floor, bleeding out a little bit, just not too much. And they find the Watcher in the vicinity as Ridley is ordered to run after him while Chen goes takes care of the victim. And Ridley makes a lot of blunders, a lot of mistakes. He drops his walkie. He picks it up. He loses trail. He jumps out of the way of the vehicle. He fails to identify the vehicle. He doesn't even get a partial license plate or a license plate, period. And by the time he runs back to Chen with absolutely no information whatsoever to help them with their matter, it's really like, damn, Ridley. I feel like you had the biggest fuck up since that failed rookie that shot a gun in the middle of the freaking precinct, and I'm just like, oh boy, it's gonna be that kind of season, isn't it? It really is at this point, sadly. We come back to the station itself. Gray is immediately sinking into Ridley, just like of just the sheer incompetence in his second day. It's not enough to terminate him, but definitely is enough to have very more advanced conversations on what could happen next with him. He pulls him aside just to talk to Chen alone. He asks Chen for a brutally honest opinion. Does he belong in the FTO program still? 2 days in, a lot of mistakes. And this is Chen we're talking about. If this was Bradford already, he would have immediately already washed him out, already like just basically had him already leave to start a whole new career somewhere else. But this is Chen we're talking about, and Chen is very much still the optimistic side, still trying to see the value in him. And she does still see that, look, okay, it's been a couple of first days. It's been a very interesting one, but, you know, I think we should still give him the opportunity to impressed us. He has potential, and I think we need to we can't abandon it right now, even if he made a couple of really bad blunders. And she decides to go along with it. She does send him to the room so that he can read up on his book, trying to remember even the basic fundamentals of policing. While Bradford shows up immediately, berates her for not berates her in a bad way, more like berates her in a mocking way. We're like, oh wow, your rookie's really standing out over here in the first 2 days on the job. Damn, it's almost like this bet's in the bag, kind of speaking. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Who the heck really knows? I want to say the next scene we get is Juarez handling a ticket incident or stolen car incident. Or I completely forgot what the reason is that Juarez and Nolan stopped this individual, but they get into an altercation. Nolan, oh yeah, there was a scene where Nolan, back at the crime scene before, talks to Lopez and Harper about just the aspect of plainclothes day, where it's very difficult for him to kind of discernitate now that, hey, I am just a outlooker today. I am not supposed to be anywhere in official capacity. This should have been an easy thing, but Nolan just naturally took over as point, because again, he's always been kind of point by extension, whether he was when he was a rookie or solo P2, now a P3. He's always been the man on point. Now that he's kind of had to obviously let it go so that he can see how Selena does on her own, it's a little bit disturbing considering the fact he wasn't able to really differentiate between it. And Harper and Lopez does give their 2 cents. We're it's not technically his fault totally. He was acting out of instinct and definitely out of protection for Juarez. But at the end of the day, right now, this is about Selena proving herself as she is beginning to be capable of doing things on her own. And that Nolan kind of has to sometimes sink his foot down and just let things happen and hope to God that Selena can handle it. So then we get to this moment where Selena's fighting for, not for her life, but really struggling against this really big dude that's double her size. And Nolan tries to intervene, but he's like, wait, I can't. The point of today is to let her do it on her own. And thankfully she does on her own. She does get a bloody lip, and but she's proud of it and does allow herself to okay, I got it. It is what it is. And yeah, matter solved. Meanwhile, across the way, Lopez and Harper kind of just thinking about the Watcher right now, considering the fact that this dude is always there. It's a little bit weird how he always gets there, and they just remember, wait a minute, these vigilantes really just have freaking they remember all these radio channels are literally on public channels, so anyone could just tune the frequency to get the information. So they just assume, okay, if we can just find a way to put. It was just a shot in the dark of let's put out a fake call, see if we can attract him, and then go from there. And they also loop in Bradford and Penna's backup. Thankfully, it worked. The guy was literally suiting up in his car, ready for action. And then all of a sudden, all 4 of them show up. They immediately, and this guy is very chill. It's very much easy to get the what's the word? Get the I forget what the word is. But they get him immediately arrested, and the guy just immediately said, I just want to call a lawyer. That's about it. The end of the day is here. Juarez gets assessed by Gray, and while it's not a perfect day, it is a passable level that, definitely she can continue with the FTO program as planned. Nolan also did okay on his first, plainclothes day, and he also has some room to improve, basically speaking, and, that. Good job all around on these 2 front. Ridley was bad. He was just so bad. Really, this is terrible. We cut over to the interrogation room where Harper and Lopez switch back to detective mode, interrogating the Watcher. And it's just he's a former cop, has training, just kind of was tired of sitting on the sidelines, ready to kind of get back into the action. A little bit more at play here, but we don't quite get into much of that, at least at this moment, to my memory at least. So, but it's the end of the day. Everyone's instructed to go home. Harper heads back to her house, only to find that James's small community dinner turns out to be a community town hall, as everyone's just gathered in the room, with just getting the updates from James from the meeting of how things are progressing with the restructuring of Mid-Wilshire. That's when Harper comes in immediately. Well, not everyone, but a couple people already come up to Harper asking questions like, what's happening? When are we going to get some real change? What's going on? And I'm just like, dude, first of all, you're not in your house. This is her house. have some respect. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. And obviously, I do agree with Harper here. Where, like, she never fully signed off on this magnitude. James is trying to, like, kind of play halfway. Where, like, I'm sorry that it got this big, but at the end of the day, you do know that I'm very involved in the community. That I'm gonna, like, obviously have people over sometimes, so, because to get them to stay the. I don't even know if they're still even in near that community we were at like a few seasons ago. I don't even remember we're even close to that. Obviously, he's gonna consider that his home, but, like, at least right now it's just. I'm not 100% certain on it. And obviously Harper's not in a very good place right now. She just had a long shift. She got berated by a couple people in her own home. And her husband didn't warn her anything about this level. So, yeah, she's a little bit ticked off. And what does anyone do? She decides to escape and head over to Lopez's house, who's in the middle of getting a foot massage from Wesley. And then she shows up and Wesley's just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to the other room. And Harper kind of goes a little bit deep into James about it, like, like, what he did was messed up, but it seems that what she just did is also messed up. And, like, Lopez just suggests, like, well, let's do a spousal trade. Like, James gets Wesley, I get you. And I'm just like, damn. I still remember when we started season 2, these two were not even close to being friends, and all of a sudden now they're besties. And I'm like, yeah, this happened between 5 and 6, and 4 too. But I'm like, at least in this regard, it's just like, it's kind of weird to, like, not weird to, like, a major extent, just in the matter of, what's the word that I forgot what the word is, but yeah. But anyway, we also, Nolan goes back over to the hospital to go see the grandfather before, have a little scene with him about, like, what may have happened, and he's venting his regrets, the fact that his daughter and granddaughter did vocally state that to get a security system, like a proper one, he did not want to spend the money. So he said, I am the security system. And look what that got him. Like, his granddaughter got shot. Hopefully she'll be all right. But at the end of the day, he definitely lost trust in his own daughter and granddaughter, because the fact that if their own family member can even shoot them, how are they safe in the house? How are they really safe? So definitely this kind of created a big travesty in their family, and it really does suck. And sadly, I believe this is the only time we actually talk about this. It's kind of a quick and done, basically, quick and done. I think we cut over to Penn, who's heading back to his car house to take the moment to finally rest after a long day. Bradford just trails him behind, immediately calls him out for it, that technically officers need to have a primary state of residence that is not in a vehicle. And Penn's just trying to explain to him, like, I don't got the money right now. I really, really don't. This was the easiest way to kind of, stay on my, stay safe. And Bradford's like, no, because anything can happen out here. You have no protection. Let's say someone breaks in the middle of the night. You lose your gun. You lose your badge or anything of the sort related to your job. And that's a big compromise. You would definitely be fired off the spot. So Bradford, being the also gracious and full person he is, offers him an opportunity to find a new place within 24 hours, or he's out. He's out of the FTO program. He's out. And we got a little backstory here. Forgot to mention that, he was a rising football star. He made some bad financial calls before he even got an ounce of money, thinking that he was going to get paid off on the back end. And then his football thing failed, and then he did the Texas thing originally. So, like, yeah, like, definitely this has not been it's not been good potential for him. That's basically what I'm trying to say over here about that. So yeah, we cut over to the next day. Nolan is back into uniform, back into normal. I don't know why I said it like that. Night Shift also picked up another sighting of the Watcher, meaning that the Watcher was not a singular entity. There definitely is a little bit more here than anticipated. It is another attempted murder, so definitely there is a differential between the Watcher that we saw that was kind of like, the more PG-13 version than this shooter version that has been basically trying to shoot every criminal that they see in sight. Definitely trying to play a Red Hood type of aspect with this one. And then so they suspect something else, so they decide to go and look into it deeply in a more different angle, looping in Nolan and Juarez as a result to see what else they can uncover from that. Where do we go from there? Ridley also meets him with Chen, apologizes for yesterday's events, and does get really honest with her that the reason why he was like kind of off his game, making so many big mistakes, was the fact that 4 years ago or so, he had cancer, a very aggressive stage of it. He wasn't technically supposed to make it, but he did, and there is a possibility it may have come back. There is some signs and concerns in his blood work that require more testing, and that's why he was late. That's why he was, not 100% in the zone. And Chen does understand it, but at the end of the day, they are officers. They have a moral duty while they're on the clock to be on their 100% when they're out there, and that right now they need to focus on the job at hand and get through it together. That's all they can really do right now. I don't believe we get to see much of Penn and Bradford right here. I don't even think we get an aside about the whole moving in thing at the moment. I don't 100% remember it as that to be the case. But what I do know is that they do get a lead on the fake watcher. It turns out to be a nearby gang, considering the fact that the people that have been targeted by the shooting watchmen have been all gang related people in the same gang. So they look for the opposing threat, which they do. They already find someone who they, I think, presumably hurt as a result. Attempts to go back against them, and then once the police show up, it's all game over. Everyone's shooting. It's a firefight everywhere, but thankfully everyone's alright. It's kind of like one of the more not entirely threatening gunfights I've seen in the Rookie so far. Everyone's fine. The woman we saw at the beginning holds one of the gang members at point blank. Juarez uses this moment to diffuse the situation, letting her know that this is not worth it. Do not get yourself worth having murder on your record, having a multitude of charges against you. Let it go. And thankfully it worked. And she drops the gun. Everything's fine. And the fake watcher crisis, the watcher thing is over. All said and done. Just one episode. Nice and with a bow tie. Where do we go from here? Do we have anything else to do? I do not believe so. I think it's another end of day. We get the rookies. It's so weird to say this way. We see our rookies, Juarez, Penn, and Ridley in another bonding session. Again, more like Juarez kind of listening in on these two, because again, having fellow peers on her level kind of sort of new for her to an extent. Where do we go? And even already Penn is just already going with his problems with them, and it's just it's kind of nice, really nice. Okay, I don't want to say they're friends yet, but I could definitely say they're we're in the same camp here, so we might as well help out each other. And even already Juarez is I think I know how I can help you out with your current predicament. We cut over to the where are we? No, not yet. First we cut over to Harper, who returns back home properly after spending the night at Lopez's, and I like that. And she confronts James a little bit about what just happened. It was not cool. And Harper understood who she was marrying. Same with James. And Harper is starting to have a little second doubt. Not a big gaping one, but a little bit did we get married too early? Because let's be honest, they started dating in season 4, and they got married at the end of season 4. They've been married for all season 5 and 6, but the point being is that they never had a proper a real relationship. They knew each other. They had moments of flirtations and everything, but they never really had a proper let's really get to know each other. Let's really spend some time together. And I know Wesley and Lopez kind of did the same thing too. Not to play too many comparisons, but this is not a divorce conversation. Let's not say that much, but it is definitely time that they need to kind of make more efforts to understand each other a little bit more. Because again, with one being pro-policing, the other one not being 100% pro-policing, would definitely be more on the opposite spectrum of things. Definitely there is going to be more conflicts in the future. There's going to be definitely more efforts to kind of coincide with things, and it's going to be a little bit tricky, and they both agreed they're going to make efforts to work on that, and that they'll start fresh in the morning, considering the fact they both had a very long day. So they will resume this conversation in the morning. As the other end, we have technically our TOs now. It's still kind of weird to say even that, where they're comparing how things are going, just having a little brashing of the moment here, with everything that's happened so far, with the last couple of days. No one leaving early to kind of get a nice soaking time in the bath to relax after a couple stressful days on the job here. And leave Chen and Bradford on their lonesome. We don't get any scenes like that, but it is a little bit strange to kind of get them back on the road of like, hey, we used to date, we still have feelings for each other, but we're not going to be that back together anytime soon. Which I'm like, why is it not happening? Like it's kind of weird. Like they're just not addressing that 100%. To be honest with you, I don't know. I really don't know. But thankfully, their mitigating awkwardness is come to an end. Thankfully, when Penn gives Bradford a call to let him know he has found a permanent residence in the police lot, where Smithy lives. So basically, the thing that Wes should have gotten 6 years ago has finally come to pass, and now it's for Penn. And I'm just like, that is just hilarious. That's just great. And Bradford is not entirely happy about it, but still counts as like not living in his car. And he's like, okay, it counts. You win. You win. To go, okay, I'll see you tomorrow for your shift. And even like Smithy's just like calm him down a little bit. Like, don't worry, Bradford's wrong. This is Shangri-La. And I'm like, I love you, Smithy, but I'm just like, you can really be on the nose sometimes. And that was it for this week's episode of The Rookie. So, like I said before, when it came to when I started the top of this, I am very intrigued how they're going to be doing this a little bit. Nothing really unknown, and Juarez just quite yet. It was more like really, progressing towards Juarez's ending to the FTO program, but with everything else, Bradford and Penn kind of having this a little bit of a different dance this go around. It's a little bit different considering the fact this is Bradford's hopefully his first real boot since Chance. So he's definitely going to play things a little bit differently here. He already feels like it a little bit. And then especially with Ridley and Chen, it's like, it's weird bonding. It's like, it's all weird bonding all around, but that's the name of the game with the show. It really is. And then you have Lopez and Harper kind of being both in like very unique spousal issues, but like one is known, one is unknown to certain extents. I'm very intrigued by it. I don't want these couples to break up. I really, really don't. I think, everyone's the happiest when they're happy with each other, but like, I understand like it's not always going to be rainbows and sunshines. It's never going to be, but definitely I am more cause for concern with the whole Wesley thing. I have a little bit cause for concern. The way they shot that scene was like, even I wouldn't be 100% secure with that. But yeah, but similar with Harper, again, this will be a little bit interesting. Also more opportunities to see James. Hopefully that all plays out very well. And as much as I'm very intrigued to see how things go, I'm just very skeptical on things. But I do hope that the writers know what they're doing and they will pay off to something that does work out for everyone. But again, for me, I'm going to give this episode 1 and 3/4 thumbs up. Still enjoyed it a lot. Let me know down below, what did you think of this week's episode of The Rookie? I would love to hear your thoughts down below. As always, I would love to have a conversation with you about it. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 7th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two beside our Rookie episodes reviews. Right now, we're just doing Rookie. We should be back with Matlock in a couple of weeks. Also, we have a special After the Theater coming out in the next couple of weeks as well. So stay tuned for both of those. But if you don't care about The Rookie, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode review. So stay tuned until then. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. But until then, please stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.